Welcome to Justified Riches Podcast. Justified Riches is a financial literacy podcast dedicated to empowering individuals with the knowledge and tools to achieve financial independence and professional success. Each episode bridges the gap between ambition and achievement by bringing together a seasoned mentor and an eager mentee for transformative conversations.
Frederick Douglass once said, "It's easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men." And our mission here at Justified Riches is to create a stronger generation of youth through financial literacy.
I'm your host, Rich Tavares, aka Positivity Pusher.
And I'm your other host, Justin, aka Stock Knock Life.
And together we hope that you enjoy the show, take notes, and sit down and relax.
Enjoy the episode.
All right, we are here for another episode of Justified Riches. I am your co-host, Rich Tavares, aka Positivity Pusher, and we have
Stock Knock Life.
a super amazing guest. As you know, as we've always spoken, this podcast is a podcast of the community. What we want to do is we know we have gems and diamonds right here in our backyard, and we want to bring these leaders out here to you to hear their stories and also understand the financial education aspect. We want to be able to take knowledge that we're getting from the diverse places that we're in and be able to translate that in a way that is culturally articulate so that it can be picked up by as many as possible, because some of the financial education concepts are more powerful when they're taught through someone else. So we are so excited. Please tell us this local gem, hidden, right? It's like one of those hidden secrets here, but please introduce yourself. Tell us all about you.
Hey guys, my name is Sabra, aka Slavra. Everybody got an AKA, right?
Yes.
AKA
Definitely.
Slavra. I am from Hempstead. What's going on?
Oh man, thank you so much. See, local right here. I know it's funny too because our brand's on Instagram. So I'm like, for a while I was like Slabra, but then I was like, Jane was like, no, it's Slabra. So I was like, you pick up. So thank you.
No, I love it. Whatever works for you. Yes.
So one of the things that we always like to talk about with our guests is kind of just a little bit about their journey, right? So just tell us a little bit about what you're doing now. I know you're wearing multiple hats.
Yeah,
literally and
right. I should have
figuratively.
came with a few more. Yeah, I'm a dancer. Primarily, I love everything health, wellness, music, a little bit of the lighting, the design, anything that makes the show, right? Like the creative process. So my degree is in dance education. I started as like just a dance major. Then I went into modern jazz. Then I was like, I'm gonna do education. At least I can do everything and still know how to teach it. So that's always been my brain. Like, I'm gonna try a little bit of everything first and then maybe stick to one and then probably come back for it later. So I'm teaching dance, I'm teaching spin, yoga, and some ballroom right now. Like that's my day-to-day for this semester anyway. But I also work with different churches where I'm working with the fine arts department. So I have anywhere from the 2-year-olds to the 70-year-old women in there that just want to come and dance and praise God. And that's like a big part of my heart where I just get to kind of be free. So that's a lot of where I'm at. So yeah.
That is so cool. Did you mention where you're teaching dance?
I'm teaching at Adelphi University, and I'm throughout your gym at Crunch Fitness in East Meadow. So I'm there 4 times a week. You'll find me doing free weights with the group fitness room, and then I'm in spin. We pick up weights, or we're just gonna ride. I do theme rides where we did like a superheroes versus villains for around Halloween. I did a the Boy Is Mine ride when Brandy and Monica were in town.
Oh.
So I like try to just be with my music, and my best compliment is like, yo, your playlist is it for me. I'm like, you know what?
The playlist
That's
be
it.
everything.
Yes, playlist is everything. If the playlist is not it, and that can be anywhere, right? You're shopping somewhere and you're like, what are they playing? Now I'm gonna come back. You know, but I
Yes,
think
it's so
music really is the heartbeat. Like, so that's me. For sure.
So what would you say, how did your background or your upbringing introduce or kind of like influence your culture? Because I know you're like classically trained, but what's the
Yeah.
exact terminology? I know when we talk about the ballroom dancing.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on what it is, but my mom was a dancer, so she feels like when she first had me, I'd be in the stroller in her class and they'd give me a balloon and I probably absorbed it through osmosis. And by like 4 years old, I was in my first ballet class and that was it. Took ballet on the weekends. I was the dance captain in school and that kind of followed me. I was always like the littlest one with the big kids. Like that little girl could dance. So I wish that's what we pop in the video, right? But it was cool. From there, I auditioned for this company school, Harlem School of the Arts. So yeah, we lived here in Hempstead, but I have a lot of family everywhere. They're like, you should audition there. It was called the professional program. So with there, you were able to. I took everything from modern, which was like gram based, and um, West African, tap. It just expanded everything. And they were really strict on their uniform. So it taught me a lot of discipline. And plus, I was going from after school here in Long Island. My mother's like, get in the car. We're going to eat on the way. I put on my leotard and tights in the car, jump out, we're in class. And that was like 4 days a week. And then I learned how to take the train. So, like, I think my upbringing was a lot of Long Island mixed with a little bit of city. So I got some street smarts and my book smarts because I came home, fell asleep on the train, and got lost. And I was like, woke up like, where am I? Didn't change in Jamaica. So, like, I feel like a lot of that, if we're gonna start there for community wise, get out of your community. Go explore. Like New York is such a melting pot. It's like, I think if I really didn't leave Long Island, I wouldn't know as much of how much art I do love and like the different experiences. I didn't really spin out here. I learned that in LA and try to just jump in the boat. So that's it.
That's huge. So thank you so much, and thanks for like pointing it out. She's like host at the same time. I love it. No, that's good because like it's important to understand. We hear it a lot. Get out of your environment, right? And I feel like I've heard you say that before. Like it's just something so interesting about, like you said, sometimes you might be scared, but once you get out of that environment, like I guess the cross pollination or the meeting different people is like so like influential, and it
Yes.
like really affects what you do.
For sure.
So does it feel like I know your passion is dancing and teaching it. Does it actually feel like you're working? Like, does it feel like
Right.
because I know like I love talking about financial literacy and financing, and when I started teaching it, I'm like, this doesn't feel like work,
Right.
because it's like a passion of mine. Is it similar?
Yeah, and it could be that. I think that's the biggest part is learning the business of it, right? Like, yeah, you can love it so much, so now make it your paycheck. And like, how do you do that? And you need to pay taxes off of this. Are you an independent contractor? Like, how does it work for you? Because you can work for free all the time, but then those bills pile up. You're like, oh, I did work, but I kind of didn't charge them because I loved it. So I think really finding that fine line too was something I had to learn too.
Right. You don't want to love something so much that
You give it away.
you give it away for free. Yeah. No, definitely. That's something I think a lot of business owners, struggle with, especially if
Yes,
there's
right. Oh, my
if it's
family
their
coming.
passion.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I could, give me $20.
Yeah.
This- Uncle Paulie, Uncle Paulie, come on, man, just pull up. Don't
And
worry
then you
about
need
it.
a gas. How that was about $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, I feel like I'm being trolled a little bit by Richie. I ain't gonna say why.
Why?
Because he had pizza on, right? He had a pizza guest on last episode, and this episode is like health and wellness. So I think I don't know. I know we've had conversations on the phone. I need to start going to the gym and stuff like that. I don't know if it was the perfect setup.
Well, they say no, not intentional. That's funny, but they our environment is important. And, sometimes we all have it's interesting is you bring up something where who we spend time with matters so much.
Yeah.
There was like from a vice versa, from a good or bad, so it's like maybe That's what you're seeing here, like the power of kind of associating, because they were saying like you hang around people who are doing healthy things. You want to be healthy. I remember I went to like Maria. She does those like couples things in the Poconos,
Right.
and I remember like 3-4 years ago, I went and everybody was like fit, and I was like,
No.
oh snap, and I just no one said anything. I felt a certain way, and then I was like, and then that kind of takes in, and then you start. For me, it's not that I guess we're going on health a little bit, right? It's a extemporaneous conversation. For me, the health aspect is funny, right? Like, yeah, you could do health to be motivated by how my body looks, and yeah, that's that is an aspect. But I've noticed sometimes that when your motivation is an indirect, the other things come from it.
Right.
So for me, it's like sanity.
Okay.
And like, man, like going to the gym in the morning, or at least making sure to do that, especially like with the heavy load, because I'm a high energy person. And what happens is, like I was
Go
telling you,
burn it.
attention, right?
Mhm.
Attention hyper. I call, instead of ADHD, it's attention hyper focus endowment. So what that means is that you have access to this insane amount of energy. So at least if you look at it like an endowment, it's got to be managed
Know where
daily.
to put it. Mhm.
Right, like a bad management of an endowment by a family will bring the family into ruins, right? A financial endowment. So that's where this health aspect. So hopefully it's a positive fist bump, bro. Positive. We should be at a spin class.
I love
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
But I'm
I
your
definitely
favorite
need
fat
it.
kid. So like, listen, we can have made it the kitchen, but I definitely believe like everything in moderation, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
it's
Definitely. But so what would you say though, right? Because what happens if we're bringing in financial education is some of the decisions that we make have to do with like bad brain chemistry, if you think about it, right? Like if we're in a poor state all the time, that the spending might be an outlet, right? Spending money on things. So from a physical fitness standpoint, how do you feel being constantly engaged in physical fitness helps you with your mental health or even making better decisions sometimes?
I feel like that's hand in hand, really. Like you feel better, you do better, you're looking better. You're like, oh, I'm gonna buy that outfit, but you need the money to buy that outfit. So I might work a little harder. I could stay longer at work or do something else because I went to the gym this morning. Now I feel like I want to do something else. I feel like just where you put your day or how you set up certain things gives you that energy. Or I have tomorrow off. I'm going to do nothing and I'm going to go to the spa and really pour back into me. I think everything counts. The soft life is popular right now, right? And I think it's just so much balancing what you like to do with what you need to do. And if you have to do it, you're gonna enjoy it anyway. So like I have to go to the gym. I feel like when I talk to my clients or my friends, I'm like, tell you that that's something you have to do. I need that hour for myself. Like nothing else is coming into my day because if I don't do this, it's not gonna look like this. And so making a hard set with yourself is the first thing, and trusting yourself that boundary works for you. Um, for me, I think that plays for everything. So now you can think clearer. You know what? I'm not gonna buy that brownie. I'm probably gonna go make it at home. Like now you're clear to think, or I just worked out. Should I really like go out to eat tonight, or do I really have to? I'm gonna go read. So it just sets up your decision making. I think that way.
And you think, like, I know you work with youth too. Like, do you think that's something that the youth struggle with, like being more health conscious, or you think this generation is more health conscious than like we were growing up?
I feel like it's maybe more so the standing out. Like if all my friends aren't doing it, I'm not going to be the one that does it. So if it becomes trendy and that's what we're all going to do, then yeah, we'll do it.
Okay.
I think sometimes it's hard for them to want to do something on their own. Um, the generation is they're very self-conscious.
Right.
Like, I don't want to speak out. I don't want to be the first one to say something that's gonna be canceled, right? I think we came up in the era where it's like, we gonna joke on you in school and
Right.
love you tomorrow. You still gonna play with us,
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Like now it's kind of like you have one bad day
Yeah,
and
it's over.
it's over. That it lives forever, right? On internet, and things like that. So I feel like a lot of the youth are a little bit more self-conscious of what they try.
Right. I definitely agree with that. Like, if things are trending or if things are trend on social media, the youth are definitely more likely, I've seen
Jump
kids
in.
go from the hoodies to the quarter
The
zips
quarter zip
and
is.
the matchas. I'm like, man, really?
I mean, the
just
skirts, the purses. No,
right.
it's got.
Just let it trend and y'all do it.
Yes.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's dope.
But this is good conversation you're having because it's like, how important is who you want to trend with
Yes.
important to you, right? Like,
And that's your
influential,
algorithm.
right?
Mhm.
Right? Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God, you covered it, right? Your algorithm. So it's like that. So my grandmother used to say, "Dime con quién andas y yo te digo quién eres," and that's pretty much tell me who your friends are,
And
and
I'll
I'll
show
tell you
you.
who you are.
Right.
So what's interesting is like even if you're not with friends, it's like you said, the algorithm. So basically, I guess for the audience, what we're really getting at here is from financial education standpoint, community is critical, right? Because that's what we're talking about. Just to talk about the health influence, you're talking about trending and decisions that we make based on everything. So I think really understanding who we're hanging out with, and what values they have, and then like you said, the algorithm, because the algorithm's crazy. Like if you watch constant personal development, you'll get like the best of personal development out there. I remember when the Diddy scandal came out. Full disclosure, I was watching into it a little bit, and all of a sudden, some crazy stuff was popping up on my algorithm. You know what I mean? So now, when I go back to personal development, so even from the audience standpoint, if you want to know about financial education, you start popping stuff up on your YouTube, you start looking up on your Instagram. I know Christian's spoken about that before, right? So I think if we're trying to get to the youth on good financial education, one of the first steps is leveraging trends. And what's the trend? Social media. So it's like, how do you at least make sure to subscribe to a bunch of financial education people on Instagram, right? Like I know you do a bunch of that.
No, you got to put that on a T-shirt though. What you said, what was it? Your network is your algorithm.
Oh, your passion's your paycheck.
No,
Is
the
that the-
no, the one you said before that about how you said your friends or the people you surround yourself with is your algorithm.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
You gotta
Yeah,
put that on a
just
T-shirt.
do that.
That's a T-shirt right
Yeah,
there.
we can write that down.
Happen
Yeah,
on
you
in
can
this
put it on the note.
community.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's dope. That's a dope saying.
Yeah, the people you hang out with is your algorithm.
your
It's true.
It is.
It's true.
It is.
Yeah,
Because that's your conversation. Right?
Yeah.
If you didn't see it, then you can't
Right.
talk about it.
And sometimes you gotta check your algorithm. I'll be like, how,
What?
know,
What are you watching? Then
What
you
is
know,
this?
you know, certain people send you certain reels. You're like, what is on your?
and then they
algorithm?
mess up your algorithm.
Oh my god, absolutely. Or you trying to show somebody something on Instagram and like half naked. And I'm like, yo, I don't even like look
Say,
at this.
oh, what you been
Yeah,
watching? No,
man,
Yeah, it's crazy.
For
but
sure.
No. But like somebody's algorithm would actually tell you who they are too.
yes,
You know.
Yeah,
yes.
you know.
So like
You said you put four phones on the table and just pick up one. You'd be like, that is not. You could tell, like that's not your phone. That's not,
right.
how you move.
You know. So it's very important too for like our youth, our young people to know too who's heavily into or they're always on social media. You know, my students, when they heard they no longer can have a phone during during class, man.
It's like somebody got shot.
yeah, oh my goodness. But I tell them like, yo, check your algorithm. What are you feeding your brain every day? What are you consuming every day? Because the stuff that you're consuming on the social media, that's who you're likely to become. You want to feed your brain with healthy things that's going to improve your life. That's not something like you look at. Like most of my page is a whole bunch of finance stuff, relationship, and food.
You're almost like I saw this already.
You know.
'Cause that's it.
So, it's very important that these young ones know, what they're consuming on a day-to-day basis.
Huge. Absolutely. And like you mentioned, the whole aspect of it becomes self-perpetuating, right? So it's like you watch negative stuff, it becomes negative stuff, and you hear more and more studies on that. Our mind is so powerful that we don't detach it from what we watch. Sometimes we think we're detaching, you know what I mean? But like, right, everybody loves indulging in something, on Netflix. But it's interesting to think about that. Like, as human beings, kind of our energy is like osmosis.
Right.
So even more critical. And that's something I will say that I see online, especially on your Instagram. You are very intentional, I feel like, about your energy and about making sure like your vibe is kind of like a bright one. Like, tell us a little bit about that because you share it, and which is it's always good to see.
Um, I don't know. I feel like that's my algorithm, right? It's very sunny. I try to, even when you're having a bad day, have a good day. I feel like I've just been through enough where on this side of things, why complain? So I want to feed that energy into the world more so. So probably the days where I'm being extra like today is a good day. Like that day is like probably kicking my butt. And it's just like,
Mm.
I want to turn that around. So I'm gonna feed the good thing. Um, yeah. So that really is it sometimes. And that's kind of when my followers or my friends talk back to me and they're like, thank you. I needed that today. And
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And I was like, then that makes me feel good. So I lead with like peace, love, and abundance. I got that from Orion. Like, have a great day, have an awesome night. I love you, you love you. And that's my mantra. So day to day, I usually will start my posts with that. And somebody will say it back to me. Love you. I love you too. So, even people I don't know, it's like, I love you. Like, love is the greatest energy in the world.
Right.
So, if we keep pushing that, hey, I love it.
Yeah.
Do you believe that we're like magnets to like attract things into our life? Like, so for instance, like spreading that love, do you find sometimes these serendipitous situations be coming out, or like people just sense like a different energy from you and it's like an experience you weren't expecting maybe, but
Yeah. Like, you have your positive and negative, right? And it can ultimately be on the same magnet. So, being that, right? Being exposed, I'm going to receive the love almost as much as I'm going to receive the hate. And it's just like, you know what? I had to get that because I'm showing so much love. You're so mad, So you almost understand that comes hand in hand. So yeah, I've learned to deal with this. Like, it's okay. Then I'm doing something right.
Right.
it's contagious, bro.
No,
You
no, I
find yourself
like it.
smiling more just now.
Yeah. No, even what you said, like even when you're having a bad day, have a good day. I don't know if you know Jim Rohn,
Mm.
right? And
No.
you ever heard of him? Well,
Mhm.
he has a lot of philosophies, and one of them was like, um, there's fall, winter, spring, and summer. Seasons never change,
Right.
right? After fall is winter, right? We're not gonna complain about winter, right? You're just gonna prepare for it. So there's gonna be times that you're gonna have winter in your life, So there's no sense of complaining about it. Prepare for it. We just had a snowstorm.
And it's coming again.
Get your
Prepare for
salt,
it.
get your shovels.
Yeah.
This is poetry right here.
You're gonna be tight. You got a shovel, but at least you got to make sure you got the proper materials to deal with the issue that you have.
For sure.
So it's very important. Like I like that saying. Even if you're having a bad day, have a good day. Don't compound it by just dwelling on the bad. And making it worse. I like that for sure.
Oh, man, poet of Ruse
That's
over
Jim
here.
Rohn. That's Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn actually, one of my favorites. He's like the grandfather of like personal development. Of the many, many things, like he has a lot of good ones. I think too, one of the ones just in the sake of what we're saying, especially from a financial education standpoint, and it always got me. He was like, never bring your need to the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Always bring your value.
Mm.
Because we're tempted sometimes to bring our need. I need this. I need that. And like when you think about it, there's a different
And
energy.
you're making different decisions, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like you attract abundance because like that's what you're projecting. You know what I mean? You go through your stressful standpoints, but you're not saying like, oh, I need support. You're like, hey, projecting that. So it's like from Jim Rohn's standpoint, I think from a financial education standpoint, is like, yeah, we all have needs, we have bills to pay, but and exactly what you said, right? From a neurochemical standpoint, our brain works differently when we're trying to think of the solution versus the need that we have. So when you find yourself as a young person, hey, how do I make this bread? How do I make this money? It's not so much the system or this or that, but okay, what value am I bringing to the marketplace? So definitely, and that value is what I see from you. Like you're like an energy conduit, right? Whether it's dancing, whether it's spin class, you're literally like, tra- like you're almost like, not to get like too hyper technical, but I'd be like, watch these videos. Like our lymphatic system is like the body needs to move, so our lymphatic system clears out. People are stuck in like stagnant energy, right? Like
Yes.
everybody kind of be, oh, I'm depressed or I'm this, I'm sad, right? But like your spin class, your dancing is literally like emotional lymphatic
Yes.
system kind of stuff, right? Because who walks out with an ice grill out of a spin class, right?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I mean,
like you sweat. I turn the lights off for like a song. Like that's your moment to cry if you need to. Like I'll go in heavy and leave light. I'm like, leave it on the bike. Like, and my idea is often we're going up a hill, we're gonna pick up a trophy, and then we're gonna come home and bring it downhill. So as we're going up, we're shedding some things. We're gonna leave it, depression, doubt, fear. Like, leave it on the way up, and then we take a victory lap, and then we come home. And it's like, what did you bring home? Some power, some love. You feel a little bit better. So that's literally that.
oh, so cool. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
literally,
man.
like, making sure nobody stays in like stagnant state.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Oh, y'all ready for the game?
Yeah, I can
Yes.
see Justice like
All right,
ready,
all
locked
right.
and loaded.
Cue the music, guys. Well, so now I edited it in, right? Okay.
There you go.
So we're gonna play a little entrepreneur game. The game we're gonna play today is called Booked or Burnt Out. Right. So if you feel it's booked, we're gonna say that's a smart business move. And if it's burnt out, we're gonna say it looks good, but it's really draining.
Okay.
All right. So this is the first question. Oh wow, this is a tough one. This is okay. Here we go. I'm just gonna ask. Offering free sessions for exposure. Booked or burnt out? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't know.
Offering free. Didn't say how often or anything.
For exposure. It don't have to be. It could be some gray area here.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be actually. We can expand on this one because right, it's situational, right? There's a strategy to it. I'm
That's
sure.
this is a tough one.
I would
It's
go
a good
book.
discussion point.
I'd go book.
We go booked. Okay. What do you think, Rich?
It's funny too because my Theo, we're always having this conversation. What I've learned is there's a strategy to it,
Right.
and two things. Language drives me I drive everybody around me crazy with language because language is so important. What we say, so we never give anything for free.
Right.
It's an investment. So it's never for free. So let's say where we did the nonprofit last year, where we literally gave video services to organizations, right? Because if you think it's free, you feel like
Never free.
violated. You think
You
it's
still
cheap.
have
Yeah.
venue. Like
Right.
there's still a cost.
So it's an investment. So I think if you think of it like that as an investment, it'll help you make better decisions on when to do it.
For
Because
sure.
there's opportunity when it makes sense. And I know this is like a thin line because it's like you want to get paid for your services. That's important. But at the same time, there's like promotional value. So I guess what would be the third one? Booked what or
Booked,
complicated?
burned out. or-
Plead the fifth.
Complicated?
Complicated. No, I agree. I think this is a book, but it's definitely
has
based.
burnout tendencies.
Yes,
It can-
yes. So
It
it's
can,
definitely
it can borderline it.
So it's definitely situational in this aspect because I think I've done that before, like done something for free. But like you said, Rich, sometimes certain scenarios you have to look at it as an investment. Like, okay, if I do this for free, it may bring in 15, 20 more customers. So it's definitely situational on that.
And it helps too, like from your language. So let's say someone is asking you to do something for free. Instead of being like, nah, I'm not doing that, you'd be like, look, I've already invested in a number of projects and I'm not able to invest. Right? If you want to invest in me, then hey, we have a show. But if you want me to invest in you, I'm capped out already
Because you
for
give
my
them a chance
investments.
to think about it differently. Like, okay.
Yeah, and you're not saying no, and then you're saying, hey, as a business owner, I believe in investing in community projects, but I don't believe in just, it's an investment, right? Like this guy will talk all about investing, which is dope. Like he's got his whole process. So I think from that standpoint, it's the mindset, because we're talking about mindset. So you want to make sure you're doing it from a place of abundance, not from a place of desperation.
Right.
And I think too, which I see you do sometimes, where you just worry about the good of it, and you don't necessarily go in and thinking about what you're going to get. But again, it's very strategic. You got to be, because you get exploited out there if you're dealing with the wrong people too. So disclosures.
Well, like you said, like the seasons, right? I was thinking about that. They said for you to fully know someone, you have to spend every season with, like, see them in all seasons,
Right.
Things like that.
Definitely.
And like you're saying, financially, you're probably gonna deal differently with your money in the winter, in the spring, and those things around your birthday, right? Those things dictate
Right.
how you move with your money.
No, definitely. Definitely. All right. That was off to a good start.
Let's go.
All right. Teaching 6 classes in one day, 5 days a week. Booked or burnt out?
Burnt out. When you gave burnt
Even
out.
just thinking about that, right?
What? That is not the way. Yeah. One day.
Okay. What you think, Rich?
No, I think it's a good point, because it's like, like we grew colloquially in the house sometimes be like, you doing too much, like, but that's a real thing. So I've
Right.
noticed 2 things, like you said, the mental health, and it becomes stressful because we want to deliver. So yeah, I'd say burnt out as well, because what I learned too, the hard truth is, people know you're busy, and then they'll be like, yeah, it's okay, I know you're busy, but you could be down. But at the end of the day,
Right,
they're expecting
explaining for
100%.
theirs. Yes.
So even though you think that they're gonna be okay with 25% because they know how busy I am, at the end it's hard. But people still expect 100%. So I've learned, yeah, that's definitely burnt out. You gotta take your time and can't be doing too much.
What about you?
Definitely burnt out. Especially as an educator, right? Kind of your classes are broken down. Most teachers teach like 6 periods a day, 5 to 6 periods.
Right.
So by the time they get to that 5th period, like their energy, your energy is
Zonked,
done.
yeah. Mhm.
Like the energy that your first or second period has,
Right.
then to that last period is just a
A different day. Yeah.
It's a definitely
You get a different teacher by
exactly.
that time.
That
Mhm.
first period teacher, the first period, Mr. Rules is definitely different from ninth period, Mr. Rules.
Mhm.
You know, you getting the smart, witty, clap back.
And then what
Everything.
it-
And then the ninth period, first I'm good morning. I'm gonna have a great productive day. Ninth period is like, yo, I can't wait to this bell.
Y'all better go.
Yeah, so definitely burnt out. Burnt out, man. There's only so much you could do in a day.
For sure.
Only so much you could do in a day.
Big time.
All right, so let's go with our last one, and this is kind of on a financial aspect. Posting daily, but not tracking income.
Yeah, 100%. It's almost like burnt out or foolish, but data. Yeah, it's definitely, because we were talking about, and it's hard because it's easy to post. Like the dopamine is in the posting sometimes. The tracking part sometimes doesn't give as much. But I'm learning, especially from a marketing agency standpoint. The data has to be tracked, especially on community side. I realize too that as touchy feely and nice as the community stuff is, people want data. You want to track. You want to know like what you're doing. So you definitely, and yeah, this, like you were talking about monetizing, right?
I was
So it's
just
like
going to say.
10,000 followers, 50,000 followers is dope, but if there's not like a line or a call to action, as they say, CTA, it's kind of like it's more for vanity. Hate to say it, but it's hard. Truth.
Yeah, I agree. And it's definitely hard too, because nowadays sometimes followers is commodity, because how many people are actually watching you, can turn into revenue, but at the same time, I'm a financial guy, so tracking, how many actual subscribers you have or people that's paying for subscription and how much revenue is bringing in, you know, over followers definitely for sure for me.
Yeah, you'd be into the analytics because he'd be like, "Oh, you know, we got 10 new followers," and I'd be like, "Oh, so yeah, I knew that." Like,
Love that. Love that. And that's the hard part, right? Because if everyone's everyone's like in front of the camera, like who's the subscribers? Who's the consumer?
Right.
So that's the hard part, right? Balancing. But hey, we worry about receiving the consumer.
Right.
Because that's the balance.
Yeah.
so what? If you don't mind talking about it, like what are some strategies you use, or is that something where you feel like you want to develop more of a CTA, or for the audience, do you have a CTA? Because you do so many amazing things, right? Like
Yeah.
the dancing, the cycling. Not to put you on the spot, but like, it's like, you know, good.
Well,
good
definitely
conversation.
like seasonal. Like right now, I'm in the season of promoting my spin class. So because you see that all the time, that's like your go-to, right? So I teach 2 classes a week, Wednesdays and Thursdays currently. Wednesdays 6:45, Thursdays at 7. And I'll usually record a class after I teach class. I'll record myself spinning to like a favorite song of the week,
Okay.
and I'll post that in my reel. And I'm like, "You want to ride? Like, let's ride next time. This is my song. This could be yours." So that's been like something that I know. Okay, weekly, I'm gonna post this video. That's something that I know, and I've seen the growth because I'm shooting it in the same lighting, or I'm making that something familiar.
Right.
And that's been one thing where I've learned, okay, if I post in the top of the day, that's gonna go all day. So everybody's gonna see that at some point of their day, if they wake up and see. So I try to even schedule posts. I've tried to read up on some things that work, and that's something that works. Schedule my post. If I think about it, I go ahead and make the post. If I'm not ready to post it right now, I'll put it for the time that I think, like
Right.
7 p.m. All right, everybody getting ready to sit down for dinner or after. You about to sit and scroll. So that's gonna be something as soon as you open your app, it's gonna pop up.
Right.
I've even been with friends. I'll sit around them. I tried to test the theory and I'll post. Then everybody's like, "Why you the first thing I see when I open
Yeah.
my phone?" I'm like, "Good."
yeah, so it's very good, very good,
So that's something. Yeah.
They're part of your algorithm now.
Mm-hmm. Hello. You would hope so. It'd be like, because that's the thing, right? People outside of your circle or circuit might support you more than your homie next door. You're like, goodness. But that's something you learn to absorb and let it go.
Right.
Because if you look at it that way, like, oh, I have 10 family members, why they're not the one putting into me, then you've already short-circuited your market.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, let's get
I
out.
like to say that's because to the people that's closer to you, you're Saber and not Slaber. You know what I'm saying?
They're like, who's flavor?
You know? Your
time.
people closer, they're like, oh, that's just Rich. You know?
Yeah.
That's just Justin, man.
No, for real.
Yeah, he teaches. He doesn't. He
But
doesn't
let them
have-
talk to somebody else about you. It's
Yeah.
that, right?
Let them
You-
see,
you
let,
need
let
to
them
be-
see. Oh yeah, that's my man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Claiming you after.
After they dropped you
For
off
real.
on the stoop.
It's like
it,
Jackson
yeah.
5, right? Like they probably hated Michael. They was so mad, but after like Michael Jackson, my brother, you know.
Exactly.
Bro,
It's
it's
hard.
okay. You won't even watch my 30-second reel, but you claiming me now? Like, nah, nah, but it's that's so true. And once you have your studio too, right? There'll be
Yes.
dance classes, and that'll be another call
We're,
to
we're building.
action.
We're building. Definitely.
What areas of dance will you be teaching there?
Everything. I always say from ballet to ballroom. So you're going to get your basics to professional. Ballet, tap, West African, jazz, modern.
Yes.
And then ballroom encompasses salsa, merengue, cha-cha, foxtrot, waltz, rumba, all the things. Just, I feel like, I always say, like, fill up your Barney bag. I'm a big Barney kid. 90s. But fill up your Barney bag. Like, they always used to say, if you're going to an audition, you have your sneakers, your heels, your platform heels, your flat shoes, whatever that calls for you to do the job, you should be able to do the job. And that's what I enjoy teaching at Adelphi. It was commercial dance styles. So it's being able to put on your different hat. Oh, you need a salsa. Oh, I got a skirt. Oh, you want hip hop? I'm about to crump. You know, it's like I want to book the job. You want to book the job? Don't leave it for anybody else. Why not get all of it?
Play the part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have to. So my wife, her business partner, Melanin Muscle, they
Oh, I love that.
yeah, they incorporate
Shout out.
a lot of dancing and different type of dancing into their business and workshops. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, we're gonna be friends.
Yeah, I'll definitely pass on your information to them.
For sure, I love that.
They're gonna love you.
See, ladies, Melanin and Muscles, we probably support. Okay, so we out here. We're waiting to see some of your content too. We can't wait, right?
Yeah, we're waiting patiently.
Waiting patiently, but now you have a co-collaborator.
For
So,
sure.
you know, this podcast is all about manifestation. So when you do get your studio, you know what I'm saying, we'll make sure to play this episode.
Yeah,
I
we'll
actually
be back.
have,
We'll
right?
be back.
It would be there. Shout out to Joanne McGucky, Allborough, who said she was looking for someone who knew flamenco. I was
Okay.
like, yeah, I got someone there.
that.
So, because that's what it is. It's part of financial education. That's what we're saying is community. It's important to and Christian covered this on the podcast too. Some of the best opportunities come from within the community.
Yeah, that's
you
your
know?
network, right?
Right.
Your network's your network.
That's why it's so important to be out here. What would you say are probably some of the benefits of like a spin class or, you know, someone taking dance class in general, right? Like, because somebody may think, oh, it's just for hobby. But if we're talking about financial education, and we know that the better your brain works and the better your system, your cells, right? All that stuff that comes from that. What are probably some of the benefits of like a dancing for like a busy corporate executive?
You find you're probably more focused on your budgeting, right? That's something you want to do. It's outside of your norm day to day, and it's your therapy, right? That's your moment. Like I said, that's your moment for self. So you're going to make sure that fits into your budget. You're going to make sure I'm doing what I need to do to make sure that is something I always have the expenditure for. I find that now you're riding, you have this envisioning where I'd always say put something at the top of your mountain, like your new job, your new car, and that's your moment of manifestation, right? Whether they know it or not. I'm like, come play in some magic with me. Like, let's go up. You're already thinking about what you want. So now you've probably had a new idea. You're ready to go to work tomorrow. Like, let me write that down. I remember when I was in class yesterday, this came to me, and I've seen it work. I guess I've seen people come back to me, and it's like, I kept thinking about this job. I really wanted to move, and by the end of our summer season, I got a new apartment and things like that. They're like, Sabre, you just helped me, kind of dream bigger. So I love that.
See, so right, because if your brain is working better, and it's true, like sometimes I'm like on the elliptical machine, or I'm on the treadmill, and that's when I'll be sending people text
You probably
messages. 'Cause something
zone
just
out,
comes to your
yeah.
mind, you know what I mean? And I think from what you're saying too, even from a business networking, like the spin community is like a click.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I go to this.
You
I go
don't.
to this first club.
If you miss a day, we say never miss a Monday. You miss a everybody's like, where were you? Because everybody has their spots. It becomes very much that. And I think you like you said, if you're like in that HOA kind of area, if you have on a certain shirt, I want to have on a quarter zip too. Like I want to make sure I can afford that quarter zip and things like that. So everybody keeps everybody on their toes.
Yeah, that's huge. So I'm like such a proponent for like either the exercise or the spin because, whether it's connecting with a community member, like you said, also too, that sense of camaraderie, because this is what we were talking about, right? The thing is not to be motivated by the same thing as another person. What I always try to tell my kids is you don't lack motivation, you just lack an improper angle.
Okay.
So some people may go to spin class because they want to do the cardio. Others may be like, man, I'm lonely and, I just want to be around people.
No,
and they're going to
literally.
get the benefit of the cardio. So it's like, find your angle. If you know something is good for you, you're not going to necessarily go for the same reason, but like try to find your angle for it.
For sure. I have
right?
some people that are just like, I just want to sit in the back. I love the music. I got to introduce you to my son or my daughter. Oh, they do camera work. Like they should shoot your class. Like we want to make sure. Boom, boom, boom. So just being out there, it does bring other ideas and all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like you hear a lot on social media, the revenge body, or like, hey man, like I want to bounce back, right? Spin class,
Yes.
excellent opportunity.
It's a full body workout. Like we're gonna do our arms, your cardio as slow. We're going to work on our legs. Hey, I'm sold. I just celebrated my 6-year teaching anniversary in Spin.
Okay.
So I started like right at the top of COVID. Shout out to Spike Spin. My first class was like February, and my birthday is March 16th. So that Monday was the day New York shut down for COVID. Like everything was done. And I was like, I just started teaching at this studio. Like I'm not gonna be able to ride. And I had a bike, so then that's when I got into more so just riding outside and riding to Hempstead Lake. And I'm like, oh, I really like to ride. So once the world started opening up a little bit, I was in any studio I could get in. Peloton, worked for Peloton, anywhere. Crunch, Cycle Bar, anywhere I could spin, I'm spinning.
I was riding for a minute during COVID, Hempstead Lake Park.
Hey, I
the
probably
dirt
saw you.
trails. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was about 20 pounds lighter then, riding them dirt trails. But yeah, maybe me and Rich could.
Yes,
maybe
and
Rich-
when the
maybe
weather
Rich-
opens up,
Rich
we
can get me
out.
off the couch.
Yes.
I'm down for
And then we'll go
some,
get some pizza after.
There you go. I'm down. I'm down for some spin class.
Let's do
Definitely
it.
for sure. Sabra, what's one? Speaking of this, and like you mentioned, how your experience has influenced and getting out of your environment. What's like a financial education lesson you learned later in life that maybe you wish you might have learned earlier? And you might have an advantage because your mom is like, no joke, amazing. So you probably have a little more advantage than the average. But what's an education moment that you think you learned later on?
Take a deposit.
I like that.
Take a deposit. It ensures you and whomever you're dealing with that you like your word is bond, right? As New York as it is, your word is bond, and a lot of times your word isn't bond. So even if it does or does not happen, we've at least secured our respect for what the relationship is to be. So we planned for an event, we secured a deposit. Oh, there's a snowstorm, can't happen. That we neither of us can control that, but at least you know what, I can work with you the next time.
Right.
As opposed to, you know what, I really need you for this event. Then the day of, I don't hear from you and things like that. And I bought a dress, I'm prepared to perform. And then I get there, oh no, we didn't need you. But you said I was gonna perform, So now that puts a bad taste in my mouth. We probably won't work together again. So take a deposit. We're gonna be good. So that might be it.
I like that.
That's subliminal because I'm actually working on a project with Sarah. So yeah, deposit. Word up. Absolutely. I just felt like, oh, okay, thank you.
No.
I will take that advice. Absolutely, you gotta make a deposit. No, because
Okay.
it's all right. That shows good energy. Good energy.
For sure.
I like that.
And anything can be a deposit, right? This is a deposit, an exchange of information, and really being able to build that relationship. You're like, okay, you know that.
I like that. Shows commitment.
For sure.
What's one for you, Justin? Financial
Oh,
lesson
man.
learned later on.
I have a whole list.
Yes.
I have a whole list.
Lay it out.
One, that you can't continue to trade your time for money, right? And then expect to be, I don't like to say wealthy or rich, but have some type of financial independence. So if you're continually trading your time for money, you're probably going to do that until the day you die. So you have to find some way, somehow, whether that's investing, opening up your own business. I don't care if it's a laundromat or a vending machine. You have to find a way to make money in your sleep.
For sure.
That's the key. Make money in your sleep.
I like that.
Legally.
Legally, yes.
Legally.
Justified manner.
God, no. No, for sure.
I think, a lot of lessons for me. One of the ones I think I learned later on was the importance of tipping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's more than just like the exchange of money. Like, you know, and again, right, everyone's in a different financial situation, so I'm not saying that, but that's almost the point because, like Robert Kiyosaki, like a lot of authors, there's an energy in saying, "Hey, I'm okay with tipping for the good service." You know, obviously, don't want to miss a mortgage payment because you like gave a big tip. That's not what I'm condoning, but that faith in your ability, right? Because if you hold back on that tip, you're like, then you're saying, "I'm scared and I don't have an ability to make this money, so I need to hold that tip back because I need everything I can get." But almost like the way energy flows, it's like when you do that, you're kind of saying, "Hey, in a way, I don't have faith in my ability to earn that." So I think like the abundance mindset and
Definitely abundance
focusing on that, because good business comes from an abundance mindset. You know, obviously you want to be savvy, but at the same time, when you're going in and you're comfortable with your ability to pay for something, and it doesn't mean sometimes it may not even look like that in the account, but like, you know, there's not to get too far out there, but from a metaphysical standpoint, there's a certain thing in making a decision, and life rewards you when you make a decision. And I feel like either a tip or working from that mindset of like, hey, if I can't tip, then I shouldn't even be in this restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I can't get the service and not like give. Like that's bad energy, you know? So I think that was one of the things later in life, because I was with a friend who people are like, wow, I guess, you know, sometimes tipping isn't as common because sometimes like even at the gas station, you want to like blow somebody's mind away. Like you
Right,
give
when
like
they
$3 to $5
pump
at the gas station, they're like blown away because 9 out of 10 times, you know, no one's doing that. But I'm like, man, if you're going to like pump the gas, like, bro, it's cold. It was like 10 degrees. I was like, I didn't have to be out there. So I think just that mindset, because there's so many different affluent individuals or business leaders that say can date back to having faith in that process and then, you know, things following afterwards.
Right. I kind of struggle with the whole tipping thing. Not that I don't give a tip. Like, even with me and my wife, she'll always lean towards the higher end of the tip. You know how it comes at 15, 18, 20%? You know, she'll always lean towards that like 20%. And I'm more like, nah, this guy gave us 15% service though. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. You know, I kind of struggle with just tipping just to, you know, I feel like, okay, if the service is good and
Right, that's the message.
all right, this 20%, this 20% service, you know, and then, you know, sometimes my wife would be like, I'd be like, nah, yeah. That's how the conversation goes. You don't even hear me talking shit. And then it's like, all right, 20%.
No, it's
You
funny
know?
you said that because I was in my mind thinking like probably in the dating scene more so like if you paid for the bill, does that stand out to you if the lady plays the tip or like if she tips or if you're paying the bill, do you pay the tip as well if you're taking someone out?
So I said, if I pay the bill, right, I'm gonna pay the tip. But if the tip is offered, you know, I'm not gonna say no.
Right.
I'll put it like that.
Okay.
You know, Richie,
Situational.
the light getting bright in here.
Right, yeah, right.
No. I think because I'm trying to think it through. Because
Christina, she'll tell us the truth. She's right there.
no, because there's I had heard someone tell me before, because like you grow up humble where you like you don't want anybody to do anything for you or like, hey, you know, so it's interesting, but I guess there's two folds. There's one where I would like cover it, but at the same time too, there's another where you want to give people that space. So it's like sometimes it's not so much doing it for you, it's doing it because then that gives that person an opportunity to contribute. And I know it's, it could be very.
That's what I was wondering. Like, but does that stand out? You're like, okay, like she did.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's fire. Absolutely. Yeah, because you're showing thought. It's like what was that movie, A Bronx Tale?
Yeah, so
That's my
you
movie.
reach over.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, from that standpoint, absolutely. I feel like even any sign of like attention or mindfulness, because I think right as men, I was reading in general, one of the hardest things in terms of like connecting with someone, or one of the things that creates the strongest connection is a shared reality.
Okay.
So a shared reality in the sense where, man, you understand maybe a little bit of what I, might be going through. So I think from that angle, like a woman helping, like, and showing, I think that kind of shows like, wow, all right, we are in this together.
Right.
You know, so like it's a situational thing because it could
I
be
like that.
construed
Right.
as
That's our next episode. Right?
yeah. Let's see, right? Let's see the chatter that
We
comes
gotta
out
get my
with this.
man
How read the rich
James
kid.
Ackes back on here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that was an excellent question. I think anything that shows kind of like you see the sacrifice, because I feel like men, like we're built like, yo, we'll march into like to death, like if we feel like there's a purpose to it, you know. So I think anything where a partner shows that, man, I kind of feel like,
I can help with that.
yeah, I kind of comprehend even a little bit of what you might be tasked with, the mental weight, you know, that's on your mind. I think that right there is like, you know, super dope for like kind of creating that connection. So that would be, yeah, that's a dope moment.
For sure.
Practicing being okay with uncomfortable silence.
I love it.
Sometimes, sometimes there. So as we're kind of wrapping up, from a financial education standpoint, I think you brought up a few good things like the power of experience. I would be remiss if we didn't give Mom a shout out and her business and maybe a little bit of like how that influenced you or how that's beneficial for a parent to expose their child to entrepreneurship at a young age.
Oh, for
Trying to
sure.
tell my kids about that.
Shout out to Quillis Catering, Taste of the Caribbean with a touch of soul. And also my dad, Everton Bailey and ISOP, Instrumental Sounds of Praise. So I also play trumpet. So I was a band geek. So, you know, it's it's the household is that, right? So I think they say honor your parents. I could have been that kid. It's like, no, Mom, I want to do something else. But I love dance. Music is playing in the house, all of that. So she ran her business. They met in like the law setting. My mom's a stenographer and my dad is a legal proofreader. So she said he came and sat on the table. He sounds like Mufasa. So I feel like that's where I credit even my voice. So, but then he was working
richness
in
in the
radio and worked with Spike Lee and has like that background of that arts and photography director side. And my mom with food. So she would get the baskets from the law firm and would do the international day and cook the food. And they were like, this really isn't where you're supposed to be. And she's like, you know what, you're right. And she took a leap of faith and opened and really leapt into her business where we're booked probably 2-3 events a month. Birthday parties, weddings, anything, you name it, really. We've done it all. Barbecue swings, graduation parties, things like that. So in that respect, I get to be creative with decor, or I'm working on, okay, we need to book staff and logistics. If we're traveling somewhere, I deal with the hotel stays and things like that. So it opens my mind. I told him I could do any job. I go and apply for anything because that's your acumen. And then as well as like music, I'm able to read music. So I often like to just go and sit and try to pick up the guitar, or I was reading the keys and I'm trying to play. So I think it just allows you to jump in. So shout out to my parents. Love you guys.
Sounds like soul food and music.
Yes.
Joyful home. My type of setting.
Yes.
Thank you. So do you feel because like you got to see business, entrepreneurship, like at a young age, it helped you to not be scared of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm still learning. Like something happened this week, and you're like, Dad, I should know how to prepare for this, but those things happen. You're, and even my mom, she shared that, like, you know, I had that moment too. It's like you think you can cross everything off the list, but as long as you're living and breathing, there's something else to learn. Something else to learn, to experience. You're like, got it.
Right. Yeah. It's they say right with the kids, it's not just what we are as parents what we teach our kids, but like what they see in us.
Yes.
Example and stuff like that.
I think and that becomes that. Now you see your parents as human too. Like I think when you're younger, you're like, those are my, like, y'all, we'll never be the same age, and then you become their age and you're like, wow, like, oh, this is what you saw. And I think that comes with another eye-opening respect too.
Absolutely. Justin, you get any influences or any influences you got from your parents, either the financial or the business side, or anything that has influenced you?
Um, I would like to say like my mom was a hard worker, man. Like, um, I saw she was in school, she went to work, um, and that's where I think I get my hard work ethic from. I think a lot of us get our hard work ethic from my parents, you know? So just being able to watch how hard my mom worked, but that hard work ethic. And my pops, man, he was just smart. He was a smart guy. So um, one of those old school guys that read the newspaper
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Yep.
You know, he's one of he's like a computer tech guy, like he's A+ certified. Um, so it was just seeing one side hard worker, then the other side like, just using
researcher and like
using your intelligence just to, you know, I don't like to say get by, but using your intelligence in life. So, you have to have both, you have to be, I don't like to say intelligence, but knowledge, being knowledgeable, and then being a hard worker together,
Application, right? Like that's the intelligence part they were saying is like applying the knowledge.
Right.
about you.
For the parents, yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think it's important. The reason I bring up the parents is because it's important to, like, number one, give them their flowers, right? But to really understand that we should ask our parents things, like, because we were sitting down at dinner, and I didn't realize, like, I love public speaking, and that's something where individuals like, hey, Rich, you're really good at it, and I'm grateful for that. I didn't realize my mother was doing Tupperware, like 20 people, 30 people presentation, doing Tupperware and speaking to her. I was like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? Like, she was like a corporate boss lady when I was in her stomach. She said I ended the business. But, it's, great to speak to them. I found out my grandfather, he was always like speaking in front of people and stuff like that. So sometimes we think these traits are ours, but like when you look back,
Passed down.
you can kind of see. So we encourage the young people to speak to your parents. I would say my dad, he was the one who taught me about like business. He would never sit down and give me a business lesson to this day, but like just by what he did. So it's like he would go to the baseball game and he's entertaining clients. And I was like, oh, this is work. This is mad cool. Like, oh, you bring it out a client to something like that. Or definitely the work, the work ethic. Like there was no question. Like he just, he knew how to work. And he always had a nickname. That's my thing now. So I have trouble sometimes calling people by their regular name because if we're super cool, I always have a nickname. And that's one thing my dad always like, he'd call, and if the guy's name was Wally, he'd be like, Wally Fred Lee, hey, So definitely like, I guess creating that connection. And my mom was just, just pure warmth kind of thing, like that it's okay to be warm. Like she's the kind of person where like, random conversations be happening, like people be divulging like crazy information.
Give that a whole life, yeah.
Yeah, that they just randomly meet, and then it's funny because every once in a while that situation happened to me, and I'm like, whoa, like that weird moment. So I think for my parents, definitely the business aspect. My dad had a business, and then he stopped. So I thought growing up, like having a business was like scary, from that standpoint. But having him do that, it kind of like made me want to have a business, one day too. So it's cool what you pick up from your parents.
Nah, definitely. Like I didn't even notice like my mom, she was a payroll secretary and she did the school budget.
Oh wow.
Whoa. Back in the days before like
so
it's
she
pencil
did the
paper,
school budget and stuff like that.
Wow.
No reason why like I love finance and stuff like that.
You were right there with her.
I was right there with her, but she always used to teach me money lessons, but not in like your straightforward way. It'll be like,
you want these chips?
no, it'll be some weird like, Mom, like this is when I was working, like maybe like 18 years old, and I'd be like, oh, I'm trying to go on a date or something. Mom, can I borrow $50? She'd be like, yo, don't you got a whole job? I'd be like, yeah, I don't got no more money. She's like, how you got no more money left? And then she'd say some quote like, this is before the Diddy allegations, but you can't be living the P. Diddy life without the P. Diddy bucks, son. So basically, like, yo, you can't you can't be outspending or what you think you are. If you're a $25 guy, you gotta be a $25 guy. You can't be out there spending your whole paycheck. So that money lesson of, listen, you can't spend that whole check. My parents definitely taught me how to save a penny, for sure.
Definitely. What's any super dope financial lesson you learned from your parents that you think you might have picked up from them?
Having a bank account,
Mm-hmm.
just being able to track your spending.
That's important. Yeah, absolutely. My dad, when I was like 19, I was working at the bank, and he got like really upset that I wasn't invested in my 401k because I wanted to keep all of my bread to myself, of course. But then at the age of 26, I was able to purchase a house, with Christina. She had her savings, and then I had, that 401k that I was able to borrow against. So if it wasn't for my dad, like there, it wouldn't have happened,
Wow.
Because as a 19-year-old, you want to, for the most part, even though Christian's a lot smart, I feel like this new generation, they kind of
But that's what he learned from his parents, right? It's the pass on.
Right.
True. As we're wrapping up, one of the things we love to ask is, what's a piece of advice you would put on a billboard for all to see? Like, is there a mantra that you live by? Is there like one of your, in Spanish they'd be like frases? So there's one of your frases. Is there like a quote that you live by or a certain mindset? Why you think
Yes.
what's your
Um,
billboard?
I have a couple.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the one. Don't live the P Diddy life without the P Diddy bucks.
Yeah, there you go.
But I go back to Jim Rome where he says, ignorance isn't bliss, ignorance is poverty. So kind of want to blame certain things on being not knowing. You always want to try to educate yourself and be knowledgeable about what's going on around you. Because if you don't know that, if you jump out a 5-story window, you'll perish. Right? What you gonna say? I didn't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
So ignorance is poverty. So you just want to try to always educate yourself and be knowledgeable.
Absolutely. And I know we go over, thank you, definitely on that one. I know we go over different every episode. Mine, I think one of them, but actions speak louder than words. It's like oversimple, but what happens is, our mind and our ego is literally built to protect us from like really looking at the dark truth of ourselves sometimes. It could literally block us from taking our own accountability. And it's, right, if we get stuck in that, and look, easier said than done, of course, but if we get stuck in kind of like that justification mentality or, they say sometimes we can get too comfortable not keeping promises to ourselves. So that actions speak louder than words. Even like, right, an area of opportunity is, being at home more with the kids. I'm out here hustling. So as much as, I'm providing as a dad, but if I look at my actions, what do I know? I need to be spending more time with the kids. So at least by judging myself by my actions, not by my intentions, right? Because intentions are like, oh, I wish, it would be nice. But actions speak louder than words. And I feel like for seeing how others move around you too, because sometimes, right, like people with their words and people even in your own like circle, and you're like, man, you're stuck because it's like, but something in you knows like, oh, the way you're moving is not with what you're saying. So I think that's, especially for our young people now with artificial intelligence and AI, everything else, actions will still be like the major predictor of what somebody's about.
No, literally. I think mine is like both of yours in one, but it was if wishes were fishes, beggars would eat. It's just that, like, faith without works is dead. It's like all of that. Like, you have to put some effort into what you want.
I like that. If fishes were wishes,
Beggars would eat.
beggars would eat.
Oh, I don't even think there's anything more to say after that.
Right, mic drop.
But we want to make sure that everybody knows exactly where to find you and how to find you. We've really enjoyed having you as a guest. We hope that you will be a guest in the future. And of course, we love having young people on. So any young people in your network, love to speak to them. But please, how can individuals find you, whether that's for future dance classes. I know you got a studio on the way, but where can they find you online and right now via Spin and everything?
Awesome. If you're looking for your personal trainer, instructor, you can follow me, Body X Slay. That's Body by Slay. Or just my personal page, Slaybra, SLAYBRAAA. That's me.
Beautiful. And flamenco, everything from hip hop to
Everything.
classical.
Yep, from ballet to ballroom. We can dance. Let's dance.
Everything in between. And what like amazing thing were you doing for our youth this week?
We were at Roosevelt Public Library, African Dance and Drum. So 3 days of instruction, some fun. I had dancers that started out drumming, then came to dance, and went vice versa, and we had a blast.
You hear that?
Hopefully we're back spring break, Roosevelt Public Library.
Any other ways for individuals to reach you?
Instagram is always there. All my links are there. You can email me, press that button, as well as booking. We're not burning out. So you could, right there. It comes right to me.
Excellent. Melanin and Muscles, you hear about that. African dance. There's all kinds of cool opportunities. We're so happy to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you just
I had a
for
blast.
sharing what you're doing.
You just said.
So
It's been dope.
thank you. So I am your co-host signing off. And as we talk about Justified Riches, Justin has that Frederick Douglass quote that
We never get.
that we never remember.
What is it?
The Frederick Douglass quote is,
Oh man.
It's easier to build.
it's easier to build strong youth than to heal broken men.
Amen.
So you hear that? It's easier to build strong youth than to heal broken men. So definitely let's take care of those in our community. Our young people, come check us out, please. Want to get more young people on the show. I'm signing off. Passing it on to you.
All right, it's been great. Slay, bro, you slayed. So appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And Justified Riches.
Let's do it.
Thank you. All right, girl.
Yeah.